What little things should everyone know before turning 18? Story 1. Porn is not an instructional video, and most of the scenarios in those videos are completely absurd. How exactly am I supposed to learn to deal with a teacher in a 20 centimeters mini skirt? When does a mother-in-law ever have 2 watermelons for boobs and want to fool around with you? Or worse, when does your stepsister get stuck under the bed or halfway inside the washing machine? Why is the context in these videos always so bizarre? Seriously, I don't get it. Story 2. Sometimes, even when you're young, your little buddy gets tired and won't stand up no matter what. It can be because of alcohol, anxiety, the situation, or whatever. Accept it. Calmly explain to your partner what you think happened and move on. If she understands, you can be pretty sure she's a keeper. It'll also help you get over it next time. And if your partner doesn't understand or makes fun of you, maybe it's time to rethink the relationship. Story 3. Having sex for the first time doesn't have to be a goal you achieve before graduating high school. I was 26 when I lost my virginity, and even though the experience itself was awful, it gave me a bit more confidence because I no longer had to worry about being in a relationship and admitting I had 0 experience. Luckily, in my case, she took it well, or at least that's what she said. Story 4. The person you're sleeping with might actually be in love with you, so act accordingly. On the other hand, the person you're sleeping with might not care about you at all, so be careful, realistic, and cautious. And while we're on the topic, don't trick people just to get laid. If you think feelings might get involved, don't even start, because the damage you'll cause them will almost certainly be greater than your 5 seconds of pleasure. Also, don't tell someone you love them if you don't mean it yet. You'll thank yourself for this advice later. Story 5. As others have said, just because the soldier doesn't salute sometimes doesn't mean the fun has to stop. Foreplay alone can be enough to get everything working again like nothing happened. Just give your little guy a short break. Sometimes all it needs is a breather. I wish I'd known this when I was younger. It happened to me with 3 different girls in my teens. I didn't have the confidence to keep going until I dated someone I felt truly comfortable with. I was terrified to talk about it. Even anonymously, I'll admit this wrecked my self-esteem for years. Actually, the same thing just happened with my crush a few days ago. We're still talking, but I'm even more nervous now. I think I was too excited about finally getting that far with her, and now I'm terrified I've ruined it and she's lost interest. Story 6. The original skipped 6, so this is the next one. Don't stress if you're not having sex all the time. It's not like in the movies, and teenagers are not doing it everywhere constantly. Go at your own pace. I once read that sex in college follows the 80-20 rule. 20% of people are doing 80% of the hooking up. That 20% is very visible, but most students are definitely not going at it like rabbits. Story 7. Let me tell you what my uncle told me. Always wear a condom and make sure she finishes first. My dad had me when he was already older, and his younger brother was a total player. He was in the Navy. From the time I was about 10, he decided to be completely straight with me about life and how to be a man. When I got to high school, of course, he gave me the sex talk. He told me the real truth about men and women, and the advice he gave helped me have a great time. In short, if a hot girl decides to hook up with you, don't make her regret it. Make sure she's satisfied before you are, and she'll thank you big time. The man was wise. When a guy finishes fast, women often take it as a compliment. They feel like they did their job well. It's less about her finishing first and more about you not stopping just because you already did. Story 8. What matters most is who you do it with, not just that you do it. Your goal should be to make your partner feel amazing. That should make you feel amazing too. It's the difference between a 5-star restaurant and Burger King. That said, I'd still rather go to Burger King than starve. You get me, but there's no comparison in quality. Story 9. You don't have to do it. You don't even have to want to do it. You're not tricking someone by dating them and then not wanting sex at the end. This goes for both guys and girls. I needed to hear this. So many guys rejected me because I wasn't ready right away. I hope one day I find someone who wants to get to know me first and lets me feel comfortable. Until my mid-20s, I thought I had to sleep with every girl who was willing. Thinking it was mandatory ruined things for me for a while. When you're young, a lot of what you do is based on what you think is normal. Out of everything I did to fit in, drinking, fighting, drugs, stealing cars, being a total piece of trash, that's the one I'd least recommend. Don't do what everyone else is doing just to fit in. Do what actually makes you happy. That's the lesson I learned from living a fake life. Story 10. Most people, with some exceptions, have sexual desires and want to enjoy sex. Guys don't need to trick girls to get it, and vice versa. Just treat people like human beings with their own lives, desires, and needs. If you find someone you really connect with, focus on making it special for both of you. Support each other, enjoy the moment instead of stressing about the future, and figure out how you can add to each other's lives instead of subtracting. Also, if the other person isn't doing that for you, ask yourself if they're really good for you. This is about relationships in general, but I'm talking specifically about sex. As a woman who actually likes sex, one of the most annoying and depressing things was constantly dealing with guys who tried to trick or manipulate me into it, even when I was already excited and ready. I never understood why they made it so complicated. If I wanted to, you don't need to lie or sweet-talk me. It just makes me uncomfortable. Please don't lie, it's pointless. Dude, you don't need to buy me a Long Island iced tea. I was already down, and now I feel gross. And they think they won when I give in, as if I wasn't there for the exact same reason. Story 11. Use enough lube. Not everyone gets wet the same way, so make sure things aren't dry to avoid pain afterward. Also, pay attention to the type. Oil-based lube destroys condoms. Water-based doesn't. Story 12. Girls, pee after sex. I've also heard guys should do it too, but women definitely need to more because their urethras are shorter, so they're more prone to UTIs. Story 13. Don't believe everything you see in movies or porn. Reality is very different, and everyone has their own tastes and preferences. The best thing is to communicate with your partner and ask what they like and don't like. That way you'll both enjoy it more and avoid awkward or disappointing situations. Luckily, I met my partner on a furry forum. We're both furries, and when we do it, we dress up as our personas. The only downside is cleaning the fursuits. Otherwise, I'm living my dream life. Story 14. Never skip protection. Even if you trust your partner, it's always better to prevent STIs or unwanted pregnancies. Always use a condom or another contraceptive method. At first, I ignored how important protection is, but you don't need to sleep with strangers to catch something. An STI, a simple yeast infection from the pool messing with your flora, or whatever. Story 15. In my experience, sex can be emotionally intense. Make sure you're comfortable with the person you choose to sleep with. Don't feel pressured to do anything you don't want to. Make sure it's consensual and that you feel safe the whole time. Also, don't worry if you're inexperienced. Nobody is born knowing how to do it. Just learn what you like, share it with your partner, and the rest comes naturally. Story 16. First things first. Sex shouldn't be taken lightly. The foundation is good communication and enough trust to be completely honest with your partner. Talk about expectations and boundaries that will keep you grounded. Being realistic is important because in bed, every little mistake feels 10 times more embarrassing. To avoid those situations, think with your head, the one on your shoulders. And finally, sex is not a competition. Don't compare yourself to others or feel pressure to do things you don't actually want. That's what school, college, and work are for. Story 17. Sex is natural, but do it safely. That comes first. Everything else second. Never feel pressured to do something you don't want. And if you're not comfortable, just say no. Setting boundaries is especially important if your partner is very dominant. Also, make sure you're with someone who genuinely cares about you. Hygiene is top priority, but nobody talks about it because we assume people aren't gross. And don't have sex when you're exhausted. It takes a lot of energy and you won't last. The more energy you have, the harder you can go. That's why morning sex is the best. Story 18. Make sure you're completely alone and in a safe place to explore, especially with a partner. Doing it in public or somewhere you could get caught by the wrong person is a terrible idea. Story 19. It's always good to talk about doubts or worries with someone you trust. Close friends or a supportive family member can help a lot. The best case scenario is when your partner is also your confidant. There's no going back from that level of trust. If you reach that point, they're the right person for you. Just pray it's mutual, and they're not only with you for sex. Story 20. A few months ago, my best friend told me that guys should pee before sex, and definitely before round 2 after the first one. Apparently, peeing flushes out whatever's left in the pipes after the first round. It's not birth control, but according to her, it makes the pull-out method slightly more effective. Story 21. Waiting for someone special can be a wonderful experience. You'll remember it fondly and feel truly valued. Of course, if you decide to take that step, make sure the person is right for you. I think there's a huge taboo around virginity when historically it's been seen as a guarantee of fidelity. There's a big difference between someone who saves themselves for the right person and someone who doesn't value it at all and therefore won't value something so deep and meaningful. Not many people share my view, but I think it's useful to offer a different perspective on this thread.